this morning. This is insane. Rich is a motherfucker and ain't much change.
What up, y'all? Smoak here. Was good. Here was another video. So freaking about making this video, I already watched the newest Spider-Man brand new day. Released about 2 weeks ago. I like it. I enjoy it. It wasn't better than No Way Home. I don't think any film in the MCU is gonna be better than that movie. That was pretty crazy. I don't even think not even Doomsday or even Secret Wars. But anyway, freaking. In this video, I'm gonna be reacting to YouTube creator Retro Rebound, who talks about games from the past, right? His views, his opinions, insights per se. Freaking in this video, he's gonna be talking about revisiting the semi-range Spider-Man games 1, 2, and 3. How it is playing it in 2026, and see if it still holds the same standard like it did when it came out. I would imagine based off the title. He already made a video revolving these games like 4 years ago, so he felt the need to talk about it for 2026. So let's see what he's gonna say. Good job, Matt.
Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, we are going back once more to all of the Raimi Spider-Man video games from PS2 to Xbox 360. It's time to talk about, at least for your boy,
that video I mentioned, that first video. When he was talking about Spider-Man 3, it feels like he was talking about the PS2 version, not the next gen in that time period, which I think was odd. Because if you're gonna talk about it, talk about the 7th generation. Because if you're talking about 6th gen, no doubt Spider-Man 2 is better than 3, bro, in that regard. It's like they didn't put no effort into the game compared for the 7th generation, because old gen at that time, what do you put that much effort for? It was much quicker, is what I've seen by a bunch of people. But there's other people out there, I assume they're the minorities of the people that played the game, that liked the 6th generation as opposed to the 7th generation.
Where it truly all began. That love for Spider-Man really was born on the N64, but when I had the movie, the game, the action figure run for the Raimi,
because I played Spider-Man 64 again, probably like briefly for however long. Again, I was like 6, 7 years old, around there. Because I remember I had the demo for the PlayStation 1 demo disc for and then I played the full game, but never played the whole thing. The game was okay for its time period, and then what they did with Spider-Man 1, 2, never mind 3, it paved the way, bro, for future Spider-Man games, bro, no doubt. Spider-Man 3 7th gen, for what it did in that game, of course it's gonna crank it up a notch, bro, for years to come.
An era, you could not separate me from my favorite wall crawler. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, after going through Insomniac Spider-Man 2, cleaning up shop there, ranking all the Spider-Man games, and then checking myself on one in Edge of Time, it's time to round out our Spider-Man celebration for brand new day by going back to the Raimi Spider-Man video games 1 through 3. What's so great about these games? I have so much to say about it, but I just loved firing it up, basking in this nostalgia, not only back when I was a kid, but even recently when Retro Rebound began, because honestly, it all started with No Way Home. The channel was only a couple of months old, and we just saw
that's crazy.
We were talking about nostalgic videos we could do, and I thought, hey, why not talk about the Raimi Spider-Man games?
I only reacted like that because I watched this guy for at least a couple times, for like at least a couple years. I didn't thought he started a channel, 2021? Because that's when No Way Home came out. Oh man, that shocked me. Wow. Because he has 2 channels. I don't know which one is older. This one, the other channel we have.
Let's just see what happens, have some fun with it. It ends up being one of the first videos to really blow up on the channel, and to this day the most popular video is our Spider-Man 3 retrospective, which makes me so happy. It's something I'll never take
Can't
for
go wrong
granted,
with Spider-Man 3.
For those of you who know a lot of my history
Spider-Man
on YouTube, I grew up just talking about Bethesda games, and I have always been incredibly used to the idea of people calling me the Bethesda guy and only caring about my opinions on Bethesda games, and I've always found that to be a privilege. Like, just for anyone to care at all is cool. But of course, as I grew up creating more content, I wanted to talk about other games I was really passionate about, but I was never able to crack through. That video where we talked about remembering the Raimi Spider-Man games, That video right there is one of the most important videos I've ever done in my lifetime.
Wow.
It's maybe not presented as such, but the breakthrough moment, the feeling of, oh, we can talk about these games and people want to show up and hang out and they enjoy the conversation too.
Yeah.
It still blows my mind to this day. So thanks for being here.
All right.
And let's talk about these Raimi Spider-Man video games. Join me as we go down memory lane. If you never played these before, I hope to put some really cool Spider-Man games on your radar. If you're new here and you're into nostalgic or retrospective content, or I guess Spider-Man content, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Get subscribed. Now
Which
let's
already
begin
am.
where it all technically began for me.
And this guy has like, because given what he said, right, he has like at least 5 or 6 videos of Spider-Man. I didn't realize how much impact it had on this guy's channel, bro. Because when he was like dropping another one Spider-Man related content, I'm like, damn, this guy loves Spider-Man. I could see why. It blew him up, man, for real. So good for him. I actually got, I don't know if those videos got my attention, but yeah, nah, good for him. I see his cat slipping in the background.
Like I mentioned, Spider-Man 64 was really the birth of my love for Spider-Man. I adore
Yeah,
that
I think we're
game,
the same
but
age.
really, it was, as
Probably
I
a couple years
mentioned,
older
with
than me.
the game, the movie, the action figure on, all of that
Because even though Spider-Man 64, I didn't play it that much, it served as a catalyst for me liking the Spider-Man character. I remember before school, bro, I would go to the bus stop for the school bus to pick me up. I would watch I believe a Spider-Man and Friends, something like that. With the man, it's been years, bro, since I watched that. The Iceman and the Fire Lady. Yeah, his name was Iceman, and the Fire Lady was named Firestar. Yeah, I remember watching that like before getting to the bus stop, like each morning. Freaking, this was on ABC Family. Cause that morning block they called it something else, but yeah, good time. Cause ABC Family not around no more. They revamped it, call it Freeform or something like that.
Bind, the Raimi Spider-Man era was so special for me, and this is where I truly fell in love. Firing up Spider-Man 1 in 2026, let me tell you what, this is a great looking game to this day. Like the character models specifically, like I love how Spider-Man looks in this game, like the vibrancy.
Yeah,
from
that
his
is.
suit,
Look
the
at
detail
that frame
in
rate
it.
is insane.
It just looks really good. And I think it stands out a little bit to me because when you play Spider-Man 2 and then you play Spider-Man 3, these games look progressively worse, and it's because, you know, it's on the
That's
PS2
Spider-Man 3,
and
bro?
we're pushing
Oh, yeah, you see?
technology forward by doing, say, open world Spider-Man.
That's what I'm talking about. When he reviewed the channel, but he was playing PS2. That channel I talked about that first time he reviewed the semi-range Spider-Man. It's kind of annoying. Like, bro, 3 is PS3. I guess you want to make it fair, whatever, but nah, don't do that, bro. Come on.
Games, so you see a drop off in quality for the character models, which was totally worth it at the time, still is to this day, and we'll get into that. But I just love the visuals, the animations, even between combat and web swinging. This game's just got a certain style to it.
I was back in the day, Toonami used to do video game reviews, bro. I didn't watch it at the time. I was on the internet the other day, and I was looking up Toonami. Because how can you not like Toonami, right? And it shows like Toonami Retro or something like that. You click on the website, it shows you like a bunch of like old bumpers, stuff like that, right? Anything from like 2000 to like 2008 and whatever. Freaking, right? And it was showing a video game reviews. Spider-Man 1 was one of them. I think Tom, right, the host of Toonami, I think gave Spider-Man like an 8 out of 10. 8 or 9 out of 10. So, yeah.
A mission early on in the game, it's called Oscorp's Gambit, and they send a bunch of machines out after Spider-Man, and he's trying to do a little bit of photography for the Daily Bugle, and there's just certain web swinging tricks you're going to do to take photos of yourself for the Daily Bugle, but when they do these shots, like some of the mid-animation shots look so good in my opinion. That combined with like a really nice looking character model, it's amazing how great this game looked. And then they kind of just reinvented the wheel going into Spider-Man 2. So that was one thing that really stood out to me. The other thing I always think of, I quote this game a ridiculous amount. Every time I fire it up, I'm like, the NPC barks in this game just for some reason stuck with me. Everything from looks like the freak wants to play to so long Spider Freak, just lots of corny one-liners here. Not only that, but dude,
Yeah.
this is the game where put some hair on your boy's chest. Getting roasted by Bruce Campbell to open up the tutorial. Some of
Okay,
the
yeah,
things he
okay, I know what he's
says are
saying.
just
Yeah, yeah. It
like, not
happens.
only a little out of pocket, but like he just
There's certain quotes, bro, that just sticks with you, bro. You just like say randomly for whatever. It's kind of it's hilarious.
berates you. Like it's not even just like a little, oh, you know, we're gonna let up on them. And you listen to some of the dialogue in like modern Marvel stuff, and just how this would never fly. But in these early Spider-Man games, specifically Spider-Man 1 and 2, he just rips into you like, hey, jump off a building. It's going to be fine. What, you don't believe me? Fine. Like the tutorial's over then. Don't do
Yeah,
it. Like he's just constantly jabbing at you.
yeah,
I
facts.
adore his inclusion in these games, but it really
Yeah,
began
me too. I
with
fuck with
Raimi's
some. I
Spider-Man
messed
1.
with some.
So the game's voice work is memorable, not in this, oh, it's a B-tier tie-in movie game type memorable. It's just like the actual delivery of crazy things happening in this game has always resonated with me. And not only that, but the missions are so fun. I really do like some of the, at least the early missions. As you get deeper into the game, it gets a little tough to love. I always talk about the Vulture mission where you're going up the tower and the grenades are rolling down the stairs. That's a tough one to love. The Oscorp infiltration mission, that's a tough one to love, no doubt about it. But for the most part, missions like where you're in the subway station and you're helping out the police, you're fighting the Shocker. I love that mission. I already talked about Oscorp's Gambit and just kind of web swinging around New York City. That was a really cool one. There's other missions that are exclusive to the original Xbox version, like being able to fight Kraven the Hunter, which I didn't know about until much later in my life because I always had the original Xbox version. Nowadays, I have the PS2 version in my collection because it was when I talked about it in a Retro Rebound video.
Yeah.
People went, well, Maddie, there is an exclusive mission on Xbox, so I got to get that in my collection for sure.
I wonder if Spider-Man 1 came out for GameCube. I would think, right? Because that's how I was playing Spider-Man 2 in the channel. I was playing it on GameCube. Yeah, I did. I just looked it up. It wouldn't make sense if it didn't.
This is just a classic beat-em-up Spider-Man video game. You unlock combos by finding these golden spiders around the levels. They're usually in secret areas, which always made them really rewarding to find. And these combos, again, I mean, they're really well animated. I love like doing the backflip kick constantly because just the sweet arc that Spider-Man does. Like he's just a gymnast out there. There are funny moves too, like the field goal kick where you just punch them twice in the face and then you just boot them and they go flying. I love that. The main issue I have with the combat, it's something that Spider-Man 2 solved perfectly. But in Spider-Man 1, there is a level of like the combat is very limited where you'll punch them, knock them on their ass after a 3-hit combo, and you have to wait for them to get up. It's also not a great multi-targeting combat system, and so you'll have these fights where I remember struggling so much as a kid where you'll be punching a couple of bad guys in the face and then you'll have 3 other people standing there with guns shooting at you, and you'll want to target them with your webs to kind of just immobilize them. It's really useful in this game. And you can definitely do that, but like you have to lock on them, switch all the lock on targets, and it's better just to run away and then like jump attack them. Again, something Spider-Man 2 solved really, really well, as we'll get into. But Spider-Man 1 struggles with that. But there's trade-offs.
Watching this, if you want to play this game, bro, on God.
To illustrate, but I just got a lot of love for this Spider-Man game, man. Just it is completely linear Spider-Man, but it is also, as I like to describe lovingly, kind of next-gen Spider-Man 64 to me, or next-gen Spider-Man PS1.
No doubt. Bro, it was the same thing with Spider-Man 3. It was next-gen Spider-Man, bro. You know, obviously when you play for 7th gen, like Spider-Man 2 was banging, and then they cranked it up a notch, bro. It was how more open or how bigger the map was. It was obviously more detailed, you know, next gen style. More side quest and more quest. It was side quest and a main quest. Freaking, it was weird. It was more stuff to do than Spider-Man 2.
Kind of linear Spider-Man level by level, and there are moments it doesn't feel great, like you're running through a warehouse, and I always say like Spider-Man just jogging around on foot, like you get why with the technical limitations, but this truly is an open world superhero, and I think we're in the right spot with him at this moment when it comes to gameplay at least. But man, just what a great memorable game for at least myself and some others out there. But truly the memorable one was Spider-Man 2. This is the one that moved the industry forward. And I'll
Yeah.
always remember
Yeah.
picking this game up, man. This game, just between this and the movie, I mean, Spider-Man 2 is still, even after Brand New Day, it is still absolutely the creme de la creme when it comes to Spider-Man movies. Just Spider-Man
movies?
stories.
Yeah.
Movies in general, in a lot of ways. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But
Spider-Man
the
2.
game,
All right.
matching that, there was something that was weirdly in sync with the Raimi Spider-Man movies and their games. Like, there is a sort of humble beginning to Spider-Man 1. There is the absolute glorious beauty of Spider-Man 2 that just achieves all the highs you could dream of. And then there's Spider-Man 3, which is this sort of iffy mixed bag package.
God, bro, I hate looking at that, bro.
Bad,
So bad. I ain't gonna lie.
confusing, a little messy, a little confusing. Not sure what we were going for here. It's this kind of love it, hate it experience. I just love how the games match that so well. But when it comes to Spider-Man 2 specifically, the reason it hit such highs, the reason it moved the industry forward is because it was a straight up open world superhero video game. It's no longer what you just saw one game ago, where it was this very linear Spider-Man game. You're now web swinging throughout the entirety of New York City. And like I was talking about with Daily Bugle missions, the first Daily Bugle mission that...
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? This game is pretty linear, bro. The only thing to add in this game, really, right, aside from the other feature like the open world, right, you could actually touch the ground with no repercussion. It was the side activities. That's just about it. I don't know what you mean by linear. Probably, I guess I do know, because it's not as open as 2. I think that's what he's talking about.
You do in Spider-Man 2. They take you to the highest skyscraper in the entire open world map. And at the time, this was a flex, dude. I know you look at this now and you're like, this is ugly as sin. And I will not really defend the game's visuals. Like, when you're up as high as I'm talking about in this game, yeah, it's just a bunch of cubes. That's all it is, until you fall down, you get closer, and the detail loads in. But this was a major technical achievement at the time, and the way like data would load in an open world. Like, it was that, and I think GTA 3, frankly, that were...
I was just about to say that, bro. GTA 3, bro, like what came out? I think GTA 3 came out first. Like, it paved the way for open world. But even GTA 3, you're not even at a skyscraper, for what I remember. You're not that high up, bro. You don't do that until like San Andreas, maybe. I don't remember if you could get that high in Vice City. Probably higher than 3. But yeah, I'm glad he brought that up.
Really like pushing the boundaries of what open world games could do. But it's
facts.
unbelievable that a tie-in superhero game from Activision, of all places, as the publisher. And I say Activision in a shocked way, not for me at least as a kid, because I think Activision was actually kind of great growing up. They had a lot of really great video games. But nowadays you look at Activision, you're like, shit, they were making moves and pushing the boundaries of the industry when I was a kid. Spider-Man 2's best element is absolutely the combat sandbox, in my opinion. Just immediately, the way you can chain together moves. I have no idea why Spider-Man 3 ever moved away from this. For example,
because you played it in PS2, bro. They didn't care. That's why. They did not care. I'm positive he played the next generation, bro. Because at the start of the video, did he not have a Spider-Man 3 case that said 360?
You could sprint at someone, punch them up in the air, chain attack a bunch of times with your melee.
Yeah, you could do that in 3. That's what I'm telling you. He played a PS2 version.
Punch them again, and that was just the opening combos that you could do. Right then and there, it immediately became apparent that this was a completely built different Spider-Man game. Eventually, you'll be able to wrap people around telephone poles, on telephone poles. You'll be able to stair step on their face, skateboard on their face, sweep kick them, web swing kick them, just all these moves that gradually expand the sandbox. They built the entire game around this. It was a very simple game, all things considered. A lot like Ultimate Spider-Man, where what would happen is you drop into the open world, and every chapter would occasionally have these story missions, but for the most part, you're, quote, grinding, end quote, a little bit. Like, you'd, for example, go out there and collect 3,000 hero points and maybe do a Daily Bugle mission and deliver some pizza. It was, for a lot of people, simple open world fodder. But as I've discussed so many times before here on Retro Rebound, and just in general, Spider-Man 2 was so influential that even to this day, with the latest Spider-Man game from Insomniac and Spider-Man 2, and even the first Spider-Man game they did, which is widely considered to be the best Spider-Man game ever, they're still borrowing things from this game here, down to the car chases, down to the random crimes that occur. That is still something that we are paying homage to back in the early 2000s. It's unbelievable how influential this game was on the superhero space and how inescapable it is when it comes to Spider-Man games nowadays, whether it was Insomniac Spider-Man game or, hey, go a little bit before that, Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man open world games were taking cues from Spider-Man 2. They were basically doing a whole entire next-gen version of what Spider-Man 2 already did, and that's why a lot of people loved it. It was also the realistic web swinging. This still feels great to this day. Admittedly, the streets are so wide that you're kind of web swinging diagonally, so you'll attach to like one corner of the building, swing, and because of the way the momentum carries you, you have to be like really strategic with when you release. But that is kind of what's so beautiful about the game, is you actually saw the webs attached to the buildings. Again, this was unbelievable. Another thing that I loved as a kid about Spider-Man 2 is there were buildings you could go into, and they had little secrets in them. They had tokens in them. They were called hideouts, and you'd find them there, and you get more hero points that you could spend on upgrades. These upgrades are everything from increased swing speed to jump height, all the way to new combos and attacks, just so many things. Web zipping. This was, again, a beautiful sandbox video game. I absolutely love coming back to Spider-Man 2 still to this day. Does it look...
When I went back and played it, bro, I was on cloud 9. Oh my gosh, bro.
a little bit ugly. Yeah, but I think this game is a beautiful remaster candidate. I dream of one day just waking up to news on Twitter.
I was thinking that same thing as he's talking. Like, man, it'd be great if we remaster this. But cause it was fantastic. I'm just like, I don't know, bro. Maybe they changed some mechanics around. That's about it. Make it more fluid, right? For the 9s to potentially 10th generation. I don't see the problem with that.
And just like we saw with Toy Story Retro Roundup, it's like, hey, the Raimi collection's here. We're putting all 3 of these games into a package. We're remastering them 4K 60. And here you go. Just because this game right here, Spider-Man 2, deserves to be immortalized. It shouldn't just be trapped on the PS2. It is one of the most important superhero games ever made, and still plays like that. To be fair, there are some holdups, like the way defense works in this game. I actually think Spider-Man 3 did improve on that.
Yeah, it should, it's a great game. It should be immortalized. But at the same time, seeing what we see with Spider-Man 3, again, it cranked it up a notch, bro, for the next gen. That's as close as it's going to be when you're talking about a remaster. Because the remaster is going to play like the other games, especially Spider-Man 3, bro.
A bit. Spider-Man 2, for example, the main way they introduce it is the Rhino boss fight, where when he starts running at you, you press the dodge button, and it's just kind of like a one-on-one dodge. It's not really good for repeatable stuff, and you can eventually get stuck in the late game into a dodge loop where you're fighting like mercenaries with full-on tanks and arsenals, and they'll all be shooting at you, and you'll dodge all of them, and it's a really cool moment, but you're wondering when you could jump in and attack. And that's where it starts to feel a little bit not well tuned. And I know I already briefly mentioned it, but the pizza missions, come on. You tell me when you hear that music going, you don't get a little hype? Come on. That core memory.
I agree with that statement. Even when I went to go replay it a little while ago, because the farthest I gone when I replayed it, and this was off channel, when I got to the Mysterio mission. Freaking not once to that point that I ever did the pizza mission. Because it was like, there was no point to. It was for a little fun activity. To gain hero points, but you could do that doing the side activity. I could have done it for nostalgia reasons, but I never got the chance to because I always racked up a lot of hero points by doing the side activities, right? Stopping the bad guys, the car chases, etc. So yeah.
I'm starving. I better return the bag now that
It's a breath of fresh air though, for sure.
So Spider-Man 2, the game, was just as influential as the movie. The question was, could Spider-Man 3 deliver on that hype? And you're wondering, Maddie,
you see,
two versions
that's
here.
what
What's
I
going
thought.
on here? Well, these are basically 2 completely different games. And one thing that's really impressive about the PS2 version is actually that it was ported down to the PSP straight up. So when Spider-Man 2 came out and then it had its PSP counterpart, it was basically Spider-Man 1, but on the PSP, which was awesome, by the way. It's a really cool separate game, basically. But Spider-Man 3 on the PSP is like an open world experience. So I don't know what they figured out, what technical wizardry they were doing over there at Activision, but between that and Spider-Man 2 on PS2, they were on one. But the reason I hold up these two copies here is because they're actually different experiences.
Yes.
So they first off have different villains, which is something that you should be aware of. Now, they share a suite of villains in Venom, Sandman, New Goblin, the Lizard, and the Mad Bomber. However, the 360 version has exclusive villains like Scorpion, Rhino, Kingpin, and so on. While the PS2 version has, and they mention it here on the back of the box, it includes Morbius and Shriek.
Oh,
so
okay.
they all had their own kind of rogues gallery.
Well,
if you
they
will.
could have added
I'd
that
say the
PS3,
PS2
bro.
version's a bit depleted though, because I mean, you throw 5 villains on top in this one.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But they're also kind of different feeling video games.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Not only in web swinging, but also the pace of them. Because Spider-Man on PS2 is a little bit more of a thin experience, it doesn't draw things out as much as the 360 version.
Yeah.
And it's such a tough battle between which is the preferred version. Nowadays, I do like the PS2 version a little bit more. You do get the black suit a lot quicker, which, at least for me, is kind of what you're there for, because let's be honest, we don't watch or play Spider-Man 3 related things for this gripping narrative or this combat sandbox, which we'll talk about how they completely got rid of that. You're here for the entertainment value, right? Like, that's when I watch Spider-Man 3, I watch it as a comedy. I don't watch it as like this serious drama it's trying to be. I watch it as a comedy. It's a really good time. Spider-Man 3, when I fire it up, I play it as just sort of, I guess, a ragtag beat 'em up that brings back more ideas from Spider-Man 1 during the Raimi era than Spider-Man 2. But it's still a fun, fine time. Spider-Man 3's combat system, my biggest frustration is, I don't know how else to word it, it's just not Spider-Man 2. We went from Spider-Man 1, where you knock enemies on their butt and you're like, okay, get back up, I'm going to combo you again, to Spider-Man 2, where you could combo chain like crazy. And then Spider-Man 3 shows up and you're like, dude, we got the power of the Xbox 360. Let us cook. Let's get some good stuff going here. And what ends up happening is they go back to a lot of the tropes from Spider-Man 1's combat, except they make it a little bit more fluid, a little smoother. So on the 360 version,
What's he saying?
it's a little bit more like Ultimate Spider-Man. For those who played Ultimate Spider-Man, there are moments where the game just auto bounces you off the wall. Like, it just does these things that make you feel really cool, but it's not like you pressed a button to make it happen. And Spider-Man 3 is a little bit of that. There's a lot more deliberate dodging. I think that's one of the better additions they had to Spider-Man 3, because in Spider-Man 2, I already talked about the defensive options, where Spider-Man 3, you'll actually vault over enemies. You can unlock a vault attack. Like, that was a good change here. But why did we get rid of being able to, like, web yank people, punch them in the air, jump up, punch attack them a bunch of times?
Yeah, he's talking about the PS2 version.
Slam.
Everything he's saying is
that all gone?
PS2.
I have no
That's
idea
still there
other
in
than
PS for the
development
next
times, but
gen.
it's the same way I feel about the movies. It's just, why did you make some of the decisions you did? Like, I know a lot of it wasn't Sam Raimi's fault. Like, there was a lot of things forced on him, but like, you could just feel it even in the game that something went a little bit wrong here. There were just decisions that didn't make sense that were made here. Even down to, at least on the PS2 version, the web swinging. Remember how I mentioned with Spider-Man 2, you'd actually see the web hit the building, but you'll get to this point where you're chasing down a bunch of lizards in Central Park, and you're attaching your web to the clouds, I'm guessing. Like, we're back to that from Spider-Man 1.
See, 100% PS2, bro. That's what got me lost with the combination and stuff like
clearly
that.
addressed in Spider-Man 2. In Spider-Man 1, you're literally just attaching those webs to the clouds, to the sun.
It was the first one,
I don't
that's
know.
why.
But somehow Spider-Man is web swinging above buildings. It's like, whoa, what? How is that happening? And we're back to that. The other thing that trivializes some of the web swinging as well, and I'm critical on this more nuanced level about Spider-Man web swinging experience that are like this, is that you can just continuously web zip over and over and over and over. And the problem with that is, what happens is your web swinging experience ends up being get to a certain height by naturally web swinging, which is really easy when you can just attach to whatever, and then web zip horizontally across the map until you need to refresh and get a little higher again, and rinse and repeat. It's missing like the crazy physics that Spider-Man 2 had, where even Spider-Man himself, like when he got hit, he'd go flying and completely ragdoll. It was awesome. And again, I cannot emphasize enough, Spider-Man 2 really was like a technical marvel. And even to this day, it does have that element of like, it's got some sauce to it. You can just tell when you get fighting. It feels so great still. A little bit of nostalgia talking there for sure, but Spider-Man 3, it's not like it's awful, but like they even have different progression systems. Like Spider-Man 2 actually has a full progression system that I think works really well, which was built upon the idea of Spider-Man 2. In Spider-Man 3, you'll actually get points in the PS2 version that could be spent on all these different upgrades like web zipping, like that vault attack I mentioned where you'll jump over their back and punch them in the head. Where Spider-Man 3 just naturally upgrades you? Why? Why do we do that? Like, the progression was so good in Spider-Man 2. Other things that change make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I think that is the case
example,
for the
boss
next for the
fight with
7th gen.
Mad Bomber.
It does
in
do
the
that.
PS2 version, like, you just fight on foot on a rooftop, but the boss fight too. Other things that change make a little bit more sense. For example, the boss fight with the Mad Bomber. In the PS2 version, like, you just fight on foot on a rooftop, but in the 360 version, you actually, like, fight his helicopter. So it's a totally different fight there.
Yeah,
likely due
it's a
to
whole different
technical
game.
limitations. But one thing
For the most
that
part.
was held back in this game, and it was not because of technical limitations, was James Franco's performance. I know we like to meme on the "I have nothing else but Spider-Man" line. That's great stuff in the movie. But dude, his performance in this game is abysmal on a level I don't think I've really ever heard.
Father like son, Peter. I guess you wouldn't understand that. No!
Yeah, it was the same thing for the 7th gen. Same thing.
Just
the voice.
Lifeless, emotionless. Like, guy has never touched a controller. Like,
I mean,
doesn't know
he's
how
just
to convey a character.
because me, I'm playing the game. I'm not gonna be nitpicking like crazy.
Like, clearly an only on-screen actor, if that.
Yeah.
Going back to it and getting ambushed by him and just hearing some of his lines, it's terrible. It's so bad. And again, this is what makes Spider-Man 3 on PS2 and 360 such a mixed bag, like the movie. So again, this is what I'm talking about, the unison between all three versions. It's kind of unbelievable. Anyway, it was really fun going back to all of these games. I just have so much love for this era, and I do dream of one day not even have to worry about these 3 versions, 4 versions really here, that they're just all put on one disc on a physical and modernized for a current audience that has not experienced these gems. Super, super important, memorable games. And I mean, all of their cover arts too, just, again, really memorable for me personally.
Yeah, that nostalgia factor, man, for real.
I love this.
That's why when I found out what I could do, bro,
2,
get that GameCube, PS2 versions, bro. Oh my god, that was horrible.
Of Spider-Man himself.
If only I had
Spider-Man
more
3.
time.
I could go on, but I'll stop there. I leave it in your hands now, ladies and gentlemen. Do you have any memories with the Raimi Spider-Man games or movies? Let me know down below. Otherwise, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll catch all of you in the next.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool video. In terms of the the memories he's asking, freaking, I mean, he pretty much summed it up, bro. Cause we're the same age practically. So yeah, I was hoping he was gonna review the 7th gen Spider-Man 3, but he didn't. I guess because he's just talking about pure nostalgic factor. So it feel like he played a bit. I don't know if he beat the game or whatever, but yeah, he didn't talk much about it at all. I was kind of disappointed at. Again, it was 6th gen, 7th gen was already out when Spider-Man 3 came out in that time period, so they didn't put that much effort in 3. But yeah, no, I mean the 7th gen though is pretty awesome though for Spider-Man 3. Like I said earlier, he talking about Spider-Man 2. I mean, cause you look at the progression from Spider-Man 1 to 3, right? The Semi Rain version. It kept hitting the scale every time because they already knew what was coming, so they was already cooking. Freaking when Spider-Man 1 got released, I believe Spider-Man 2 was already in the works. So when it came to the video game, I was like, I bet. So this was gonna happen. Spider-Man 1, they can't touch the floor. What do you mean they can't touch the floor? You can't touch the floor. All the stuff is gonna be in a warehouse and it's gonna be rooftops. Freaking you fall down from the building, I mean you lose. You gotta not lose, but you gotta go back to where you was going. The floor is prohibitable. When Spider-Man 2 came out, bro, boom. Took the stuff by storm, bro. The whole open road genre, really the superhero open road genre, bro. Spider-Man 3, even further, bro. It's freaking, never mind the 6th gen, but the 7th gen, oh, forget about it. The subway, just like more activities to do, more quests to do. Even introducing the quick time events, bro. I see some people don't like the quick time events. I don't know why. It keeps you active and involved into the storyline as opposed to just sitting there for a while. Like, I don't know. These guys must be eating chips or something. Like, oh snap! That's the way. I think that's what it is. But yeah, nah. I mean, it was great. Freaking. I want to see a Spider-Man. He's not gonna do it. This is for the 7th gen. But I'm thinking about completing Spider-Man 3, the 7th gen. at some point and see a full-on review on that game, see how it is. But I mean, this is a dope video though, man, for real. Just him talking. Just nostalgia, man, it's hell of a drug, bro. Freaking, I didn't play much Spider-Man 1, and just hear him talk about it, and my experience with 3 and 2, I could see how profound of impact Spider-Man 1 have made, for sure. And just watching the game develop over time. But yeah, that's the video. Like and subscribe to Retro Rebound. We give this a thumbs up. I effort it, except for the last part when you talk about 3. Simply because I didn't play for PS. Because I had the option to play Spider-Man 3, like right now, for PS2. I don't feel like it, bro. I already see how whack it is. So and the fact they didn't put that much effort on purpose because the next gen. That's normal, right? When that happens, right? You got a game. You got 2 versions of the game. Because the 7th gen at that point is still fairly new. Or the next gen is still fairly new for that time period. So the previous gen is going to be lackluster, right? NBA 2K, same thing, bro. Freaking NBA 2K11. Like, I remember, let me see. I was playing NBA 2K11 with PS2 because I never played it. And I see the comments. Copy and paste, bro, back from NBA 2K6. Because the next gen already came out in the time period. So they didn't care, but they kept releasing it for people that doesn't have the next console and still got the previous generation. So they release it for them. You know, life is expensive, so it is what it is. But yeah, it was a good one. Thank you for watching. Peace. I'm out.